Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. You heard it here first. The best sports podcast there is, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. We got a great episode for you today on May 26, 2022. Man, we're not even touching on the news. I'm feeling great. We're not even jumping straight into the news today because today's Thursday. It's with the callers. So you can always give us a call, leave a voicemail, and tell us how you feeling. You can throw some hate on there, crack some jokes, whatever you want to do. Just get it off your chest. Tell us how you really feel. All you got to do is just call 219-413-9405, and then we'll play your voicemail back on the show when we record on Thursday. So let's hear this first one that we have. I think it is the only one as well, but let's go ahead and hear what he's talking about.
My name is Aaron.
What's going on, man?
I just had to call in to say these NBA playoffs have been the worst NBA playoffs we have probably seen in our years of living.
Damn.
There's just lack of competition. Everything just seems to be a blowout. And it's crazy to say that the best series of probably the playoffs was a sweep. It was a hard sweep, but it was a sweep nonetheless. And that's saying much. I mean, it was saying a lot when, this game has been went 7. And they still don't even have a competition in that.
Damn, Aaron. You that damn.
Yeah, I had to call in and just, drop that off. And also, those Lions, we going to meet the playoffs this year. We're going to make the playoffs.
Oh, hell no.
Book it now.
Oh my God. You know what? First, let me say this is what it's all about. I want you to call and I want to hear, because I talk a lot of craziness on here. I really do. And for those who listen, I really do appreciate it. So that's what this is all about. I need you to come in and tell me something that's gonna have me rattled. And I think it's Aaron. That's what it sounded like in a playback. So I'm sorry if it's not Aaron, but for now I'm gonna call you Aaron. But you know what? That's what it's all about, man. You know, it's because you really rattled me this morning. I'll say that. I was not expecting that, but I gotta acknowledge it. First, the first thing you said, damn, in a lifetime, this is the worst playoffs you've watched in a lifetime. Damn, man. How long have you been living where this is just the worst? The worst. We just got out of the bubble. The bubble ring just happened not too long ago, and this is the worst. I can't give you that, man. This playoffs has not been too bad. Obviously, I get what you mean. We seen a sweep that was definitely not expected, but it was great basketball out of that sweep. I will say, all of those games was not blowouts when we witnessed those games. Some of them were actually really good when we witnessed against. I'm guessing you were talking about Brooklyn and Boston in that first round, but even those games, they were still pretty good. Yes, Celtics swept them boys and got them out of there. But then you go to the next round and you got the Milwaukee Bucks and the Boston Celtics. That was a phenomenal series right there. And then what we watching in the conference finals is pretty good. And this sums it up for the Eastern Conference. For the Eastern Conference, this was pretty good. But even if you go to the West, even if you go to the West, we still have some battles out there in the West as well. Memphis, they kind of gave the Warriors a good little spark. They showed that they was hungry. I can't give you the worst in a lifetime. Damn. That's a boast. I can't give you the worst in a lifetime. And that tells me, so I have a question for you, and you can respond on Instagram, you can respond on Twitter, whatever. Probably Instagram is better. You go to my page. Let me know. So you think the bubble ring was better than this season? The bubble playoffs was better than this? And then the years where the Eastern Conference was trash and Brown was going back to back to back to back to back to back, like over that time span where DeRozan was young, Jason Tatum was really young, Jaylen Brown was young, Giannis was young. When all of those guys were really, really young, that time period in the playoffs was better than now? That's tough, man. That's tough. That's tough. And also, to the last thing, You mentioned them Lions. you got to cut that out. You got to cut that out. Don't do that, man. I get the Lions they got a new offense and y'all feeling good. Y'all think y'all sweet, you know, got a little chip on your shoulder because y'all feeling nice. You got some weapons on the offensive end, but the playoffs is a stretch. And I think it was the defensive end. I may be having it confused with the Lions, but I'm sure, you know, I don't really follow the Lions like that. But I really believe that the city of Detroit, and just coming up and growing up around Detroit, I really believe that they have put some sort of spell and some sort of trap on y'all damn Lions fans. Cause what the hell, bro? Y'all ain't ever won nothing. Y'all have never won nothing. We've never. No, wait, whoa, pause. It ain't no we. But y'all have never ever been good in football. We had a few time spans in a couple years. Barry Sanders, obviously, that was a hell of a time period. One of the greatest to ever do it in his position. And Calvin Johnson, one of the greatest to do it in his position. But even in that time span of having those people, we never won anything. I keep saying, here I go with the we. Here I keep going with the we stuff. Where I get that we stuff from? But no, the Lions have never, ever won anything. So no, man, I can't give you that. That's crazy right there. But all right, man, let's move into one of the segments. I do appreciate you calling. That was a great one, man, because you really had me a little rattled right there. I wasn't expecting something like that. But as I say, I'm on one. I'm on one. I'm feeling great. We having a great episode today, but let's go ahead and jump into our next thing. So I have to give you a fair warning here. We're gonna touch on the WNBA, and a lot of guys, it's not even about, you know, analyzing the game really quick. It's just kind of a PSA, and you know, most of the time, a lot of people hear WNBA and immediately get rattled. Oh man, I ain't trying to hear that. Damn, man, I don't want to. Nah, man, I can't. Ain't nobody trying to hear about the women's basketball league, man. They ain't even sweet like that. Whatever the case is, you know, people really be hating on them. But one of the things that's huge is a lot of women's basketball has really evolved in terms of the WNBA. It's been evolving because now they're getting more airtime. You can watch games more and more than ever before. And this is pretty much the main thing, just putting some respect. So if you really hating on women like that, dog, come on, man. Like what's your problem? You need to hear me out. And if you don't want to hear anything at all about the WNBA, you're like, F it. Why? Why would I want to hear about this? Why? Then fast forward because we got more content. But anyway, with the WNBA, man, women, they are getting the most airtime in the WNBA than ever before. We're starting to see more and more games be played on television and actual big time networks. Because the other day, the Las Vegas Aces, they tied the WNBA record with 18 threes in a game. And Candace Parker, she became the oldest WNBA player to log a triple-double at age 36. She put a triple-double against the Washington Mystics a few days ago with 16 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists. Now, again, we can actually watch these games now. The women basketball, you can watch and see the skill that they possess. But the main argument that it's always been is, okay, well, the WNBA is not the NBA. It's boring. It's not exciting. We don't see any people dunk. We just want to see them dunk. You know, I don't get to see them dunk. That's the main thing right there. Well, you know, I'm not finna sit here and watch a bunch of people play basketball that's not doing anything. And here's my answer to that. If you're one of those people who really think like that of, oh, well, the WNBA stars, they don't dunk the ball. Who cares? I don't want to watch it. They're not exciting. My thing here is to let you know, you're not a basketball fan. You're not a basketball fan. You're a highlight fan. You're a fan of NBA highlights, but you're not a basketball fan. Because if you're a basketball fan, you would know that it's a lot of skill in the things that they do. You may not get the big posterizing dunks, and you may not get the crazy athleticism of people jumping over people or whatever stupid stuff we be seeing in the NBA that counts as a bailout. But I guarantee you, if any of these women were to play you in a game of one-on-one, whether they're professional WNBA players or overseas, they would work you. They would tear you apart. They would tear you apart. And it's not a single doubt in my mind about it. But here's the thing. When you look at the WNBA games more so, it's a lot of ballers and they have to be tactical. They have to be tactical about the things that they do when they play in the games. Yes, they don't have the athleticism to go up and dunk. Not every single player, or they don't have the athleticism to bail them out of bad situations that they make when they have the ball in their hand. Therefore, they have to be a lot more tactical. They have to think quicker. They have to be more decisive. They have to be quicker on their toes and make moves with more intention when they have the ball and they're playing this game of basketball, because they can't bail themselves out with the athleticism of going up and trying to just jump over somebody and draw a foul, or jumping up over somebody and dunking on them. Now, I get it. If that's what you like, then you're a highlight fan. You like watching highlights. But there are plenty of things that go on in the WNBA that will have you stunned watching these women play ball, because they are very good. And if you think, okay, well, if they're so good, why is the stats low? That's another one that people say. And yeah, okay, I get you. Yeah, the stats are low. But first things first, you're ignorant. If you said that and you don't watch the games, you're ignorant. And second, they play 10 minutes quarters, which is less than the NBA. And they also have a shorter season as well. And if you look at the game the other day against Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever, all but 3 people on the Chicago Sky who played were in double figures over 10 points. So that tells you right there how tactical they are. They can't rely on just one person, even though some teams do, and it's still very effective. No, they play team ball and they're more tactical about everything that they do. They're more reliant on the teammates than what we see in the NBA. We see players just carry each other in the NBA time after time. And a lot of times it's based on athleticism. We see plenty of guys with very little skill in the NBA on that level of national, like professional league. We see guys with very little skill, but yet, because they have the athleticism, they're looked at as better. Because they can dunk a basketball, it's, oh, he's a better player. He's a good player. And no, that's not the case. I know plenty of people who can dunk a basketball but still can't beat me in a game of one-on-one, or still don't have the IQ that can match me when we play in a 5-on-5 game. Just because you can dunk a basketball don't mean you're a good player. And that's the main thing there. So, and I'm not even begging anyone to, sit down and watch a WNBA game as if your life depends on it. I just want you to be open-minded. I'm not even telling you to watch the games at all, truth be told. All I'm saying is be open-minded. If you see a WNBA game on, instead of picking it apart for highlights, just embrace the game of basketball and embrace the game of basketball and watch how skillful a lot of these women are in the WNBA. Because you look at some of them play and you see the tactical methods that they use to score the ball. If you don't have the athleticism to jump over everybody, it's going to force you to be more decisive in your mind and make things with more intention as you go through your skills, or as you go through your moves, I should say. But yeah, man, I look, I'm not here to convince you to watch it. All I'm saying is just put some respect on their name. Just put some respect on their name, man. NBA players cry, complain, throw up air balls, miss layups, turn the ball over. They got a whole segment of Shaq and the Fool just full of NBA highlights. But yet when the WNBA players do it, it's, oh man, I ain't about to watch them. They trash. Oh, no, I ain't about to do that. No, I ain't watching that. They don't know how to play basketball. Come on now. Don't be like that. Don't be like that at all. But stick around. We got more coming up. In just a second, we got Steph Curry coming up, and then possibly touching on the Los Angeles Lakers, and of course, the NBA playoffs. Stick around. Now, just because you're busy doesn't mean you got to be stressed. I'm crazy busy right there with you, but it can be easier. Next time you're on a run, just make it more fun and listen to The Run with Manny Wilson. Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run, the Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. You heard it here first. The best sports podcast there is, all the way from Detroit to Chicago, to your speakers and headphones. And look, as I said, man, we're not even doing the news today. I'm on one. So we thriving off of energy and good vibes. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm thriving off energy and good vibes. But the whole talk of the town, man, everybody's been heating up the conversation. The streets is talking, the sidewalks is talking, the corporate offices is talking. And they talking about Steph Curry. Even though he has the Dallas Mavericks down 3-1 and didn't complete the sweep the other night, they're talking about, okay, well, if he wins the finals and he goes on to win finals MVP, is that something that puts him on the Mount Rushmore of basketball? Like, can Steph Curry be up there with the other great names on the Mount Rushmore of basketball? And look, man, I'm here to let you know right now, Steph Curry has been on the Mount Rushmore of basketball for probably the last 3 or 4 years. I would definitely factor that into it. And he got injured. But I say he's been in the Mount Rushmore of basketball for some time now. There's always a lot of people who change the game of basketball. There's a couple. I'll put it that way. There's not a lot. There's a couple of people who change the direction of basketball. Bill Russell, obviously breaking racial barriers. Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain, elevating the game to an entire new level. Then you move a little bit forward. You got Bird and Magic making the NBA popular. Magic making basketball just like such a big a way to be a star. And when you got Larry Bird bringing his type of background to the NBA as well, adding that diversity with both of them going at it time after time, going toe to toe year after year. And then you continue to move forward. And you got Michael Jordan coming in, took the NBA to an entire new level, made it where these NBA players are not only basketball players, but these guys are stars. Like, anyone can be a star now that you're in the National Basketball Association. Michael Jordan, he took that level of fame of being a professional basketball player and a professional athlete to an extreme. And there's other guys in other sports as well that did the same thing, but they are on their Mount Rushmore in that particular sport. And continuing with basketball, you got guys like Allen Iverson coming up next. Allen Iverson was another one of those guys who moved things forward, doing what he wanted to do and doing his own thing and bringing his culture and his background and being true to himself and eventually changing the course of the NBA. And I put Allen Iverson over guys like Kobe in terms of Mount Rushmore of changing and impacting the game, because we've seen Kobe's style. We've seen Jordan. Kobe was very Jordan-esque. So we've seen that. But Allen Iverson, we didn't see guys getting their hair braided on the sideline. We didn't see guys coming in wearing chains like a rapper in a way. But no, we didn't see that type of thing. Cornrows, just the type of swagger he brought to the National Basketball Association. And look where we are now. All of this crazy stuff that Russell Westbrook be wearing and these Dwayne Wade when he was playing and all these other guys be wearing when they show up to these games, a lot of that started because of Allen Iverson. And then you continue forward. Obviously, Bron is doing his thing with this. He changed. I even put Bron up there because he changed the whole course with the point forward thing. And yeah, there were people who played point forward before, and no disrespect to any of those guys. But Bron took it to an entire new level. Just the way that he thrived at that position and being able to do every single thing on the floor in terms of building an entire team around him and building a franchise around him. So I give LeBron his credit with that. And then Steph Curry, obviously, this is where we want to be right here with the Steph Curry. This is where we want to be. Steph Curry changed the course of basketball by the way he shoots the ball. How many times do we see people pull up on a fast break where they could have took a layup? Man, you do that type of crap 10 years ago, man, you was getting tossed on the bench. Like when I played and like when my cousins and brothers played during the time when we were playing in high school, if you stop and pull up for a three-pointer on a fast break when you have no one down at the rim, Oh yeah. You was seeing the bench. Whether you made it, you had to make it. You had to make it, because if you didn't make that, it was a wrap for you. But Steph is 100% on the Mount Rushmore. The whole course of the game in terms of how people spread the floor because of the Warriors has changed like that. And that's credit to Steve Kerr. And again, it's nothing we haven't seen before. We've seen this type of game plan before, just not on this type of spotlight and not on this type of level. The Bulls played with a similar game plan that the Warriors played with back when Steve Kerr was playing, when he was coming off the bench. Had all the shooters, him, Kukoc, and they would just come off the bench and just start shooting threes. Spread the floor and let's pull up and let's keep this lead. That's exactly what the Warriors do in a sense. But they make their threes and it's on a bigger stage. It's on a larger stage because not only is Steph, Clay, and Draymond all thriving from it, but Steve Kerr and the Warriors, they're building a dynasty over there using this same system and keeping these same type of players around to make this system thrive. And because of that, leading that whole entire thing, Steph Curry, he's leading it. Now, how many teams do we see in the league play 5 wide? Everybody's playing 5 wide. You look at the Dallas Mavericks right now. They're trying to keep up with the Warriors playing iso ball, and they jack up threes the whole entire game. That's damn near the problem of why they're losing in some of these games. But we'll touch on that in just a second. So make sure you stick around. We have more coming up in just a second. We got Juwan Howard and the Lakers. Oh, man, I can't wait to touch on that right there. I told you, we're feeling good. We off the good vibes today. So you know what? We're feeling great. Stay tuned. We'll be right back in just a second. Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run, the Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson. Part 2 of the same episode. You know, I don't want it to drag out too much, so I'll let you listen to part 2 whenever you get the chance. If you jump straight into it, my man's or my woman, that's what I'm talking about. But let's do it. We're going to actually finally give you some news. As I mentioned earlier, we're feeling great, man. It's all good vibes that we're rolling with today on this morning. But for some news today, we're going to jump straight into it. And the Chicago Bulls and the Detroit Pistons, they will play in Paris next season at the Accor Arena on June 19th. This is a mix-up from the NBA, and yes, I said Paris. The Chicago Bulls and the Detroit Pistons will be playing in Paris next season. So that's going to be dope for both fans to go ahead and watch. That's super cool. And Juwan Howard, head coach of the University of Michigan, recently declined interest in coaching for the Los Angeles Lakers. Declined the interest. Man, yeah, and we're going to touch more on that later in a sec. And the Boston Celtics, they beat the Miami Heat in Miami last night, 93-80, as someone mentioned prior to the game and back in game 3 and game 4. But, you know, we not going to gloat on that too much. But with that being said, man, the Miami Heat and Boston Celtics, this series here, it brings so much joy to me. When people talk trash and they say, all right, you know, man, you out your mind, you're losing it. I'm telling you right now, Miami is going to do this, they're going to do that. You're dead wrong. And then what happens? What happens? That's one of the greatest things. And it's hilarious because I mentioned Celtics in 6 before, but I guess you didn't hear me or whoever was talking trash didn't hear me about when I said Celtics in 6. But I still believe the Celtics are going to be in 6. And I was asked, you really think they can win 3 games straight? Yes, I do think they can win 3 games straight. This team is a very, very good team. And I mentioned the Celtics in Miami, they're very similar. They both thrive on defense. They both pride themselves on playing with effort and playing hard and playing as a team together. But when you compare those type of things, the Celtics, they're just better. They have better personnel. And when they play like it, when they play with and they match Miami's intensity and match their effort, we see that they can win the games. We see they can win the games, especially when they can make their shots. And some people may say on the flip side, well, Jimmy Butler ain't make his shots. Kyle Lowry ain't make his shots. And Kyle Lowry finished off with a goose egg. He had 0 points last game. 0 for 6. Terrible. But anyway, They may throw those things around and say, well, those things are difference makers. And obviously it's a difference maker if somebody's not making their shots. But what are the excuses going to be over and over again in game 3 or what was it? I think it was game 3 or 4, game 3 or 4, whichever one the Celtics won. I was hearing it. Okay, well, Jimmy Butler got hurt. Jimmy Butler, he had to leave. He didn't play the second half. And oh no, the Celtics did not win that game. Miami won that game. But I mentioned that it says something when the Celtics keep it a close game and they were shooting that terrible. Because Jason Tatum shot horrible that game. Jaylen Brown shot horrible. And Marcus Smart did not play. Williams didn't play either. So there was a lot of advantages that went to the Miami Heat when they won. I believe it was game 3 or game 4. But despite those advantages, the Celtics still kept the game close. And they came back from a 26-point deficit. And you sitting here, a lot of people try to tell me that, okay, well, although they came back from this deficit, Miami's just a better team. Miami's a damn good team. I'll give you that. But they're just not better than the Boston Celtics, especially when the Celtics are at full strength. They're making their shots and they're matching that intensity. When they're playing like they actually want to win, they're not better. You're not beating the Boston Celtics. At least the Miami Heat are not beating them. And that's just my whole thing with the Celtics there. They're a good team, and they match up very well with Miami. Miami's a very good team as well. But when you look at it personnel-wise and you compare the differences in individuals on that team, the differences in individuals, the Celtics are just the better team. And they're still going to win in 6, as I mentioned. So I have no doubt. I still have absolutely no doubt in my mind that they're going to win this series in 6. All right, now that other demon over there on the Western Conference, because yes, it's playoffs. The Dallas Mavericks and the Golden State Warriors. This is about to be wrapped up here. I will admit, I admit when I'm wrong. I have no shame. I said Warriors in 6 or 7, and damn it, they about to end it in 5. Possibly. I don't even know what trajectory this series is going, because this is just, again, as I mentioned before, the Warriors play good one day. The next day, they decide they want to take a night off. And it's no telling. So game 5 is back in Golden State. They may go ahead and just end it in Golden State if that's what they really want to do. Obviously, they can beat down on the Dallas Mavericks, but it is going to depend on if the Dallas Mavericks can come out shooting lights out. We know their whole game plan is to isolate and shoot threes. Shoot threes and die by the 3 ball. But one thing, if you live by the 3 ball, you're definitely going to die by the 3 ball when that time comes. So it's going to be tough to watch. But I honestly believe the Warriors will end it back in Golden State, and they don't have game 6 in Golden State this time. So I think it's going to be tough. It's definitely going to be tough. But anyway, with that being said, man, we'll take a quick break and then we'll jump back into it. We got Juwan Howard and the University of Michigan declining interest in the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, just because you're busy doesn't mean you got to be stressed. I'm crazy busy right there with you, but it can be easier. Next time you're on a run, just make it more fun and listen to The Run with Manny Wilson. Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run, the Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. We are back. The best sports podcast there is. And we mentioned Juwan Howard before we took a quick break. Yes, so Juwan Howard, head coach of the University of Michigan, recently declined interest in coaching for the Los Angeles Lakers. Oh, man, this brings me joy as well. That's why I'm saying, man, I keep saying I'm feeling good. We off good vibes. But listen to all this stuff I'm saying, man. The Lakers can't find a coach. People don't want to play for them. What more can you ask for? And Laker Nation probably hate me right now for saying that, but man, we get tired of the Lakers. Y'all spoiled fan base. This fan base is the most spoiled fan base in sports, arguably. Y'all, all y'all do is win, and yet, the moment y'all have one losing season, all hell breaks loose. And that's exactly why Juwan Howard probably declined the interest. Not only that, but the Lakers, they have a list of candidates. They have Quinn Snyder, Doc Rivers, Mark Jackson, and it was Juwan Howard. But 2 of those 4 candidates declined interest in coaching for the Lakers next season. Quinn Snyder, he's not leaving, and Juwan Howard's not leaving. And these other guys, you gotta imagine that they only have that concern of, damn, if I coach the Lakers and I don't do good, it's a hell of an opportunity, but look how they did Frank Vogel. They gonna throw me out. They gonna throw me out as used goods and send me to the Wolves. Because that was wrong how they did Frank Vogel. And everybody here knows that, man. We know that Frank Vogel should not have became the scapegoat in the way that he did. At the end of the day, yes, he has to make adjustments. And yes, he has to do his part of coaching the team. But Frank Vogel ain't the one out there playing basketball. He can't control the amount of effort that the Los Angeles Lakers is giving out there when they're playing the game of basketball and they're playing against teams they should beat. He can't control that people can't help LeBron out when LeBron is giving 30 and 30 and 30 and 30. He's giving you 30 points a night on a daily basis, and he's getting no help. You can't blame that type of stuff on LeBron, or you can't blame that stuff on Frank Vogel. Like what kind of stuff? And then they continue to use Frank Vogel as if he was the one that put together the team. You had people in the front office blaming Vogel on the personnel as if he wasn't playing the people the right way. But no, in reality, they just were put together very, very badly. That's all it was. And part of that is the players' fault. LeBron saying he wanted Westbrook over DeMar DeRozan, not publicly saying it, but saying he publicly saying he wanted Russell Westbrook to play for the Los Angeles Lakers. And then you got people in the front office as well picking Westbrook over DeMar DeRozan and over stars like Bradley Beal, guys who can really give you 40 a night shooting efficiently. Westbrook's not shooting efficiently. And yes, obviously, there could have been some game plan issues. There could have been things that could have been put together better in terms of the game plan and playing each other and playing certain people at certain times. Yes, of course, you can obviously make that type of argument. I'm not dumbfounded to that Frank Vogel did not play a part. This entire team, the organization, everyone plays a part. But my thing is when you put all of that on one particular person as if they were the only person to blame in the organization, you're looking for trouble. Because now other teams are taking notice of the fact that, well, damn, he's taking all of the blame. He's taking all of the blame. And can you really blame guys like Juwan Howard and Quinn Snyder for leaving the loss or for leaving their bet or situation for not leaving their situation? You get what I was saying? Can you blame these guys for not leaving their situation? University of Michigan is a huge school. It's the University of Michigan basketball. And this is one of the guys who were in the Fab Five. He's bringing a name back to the University of Michigan. They had a pretty good season last season, and you just expect him to up and leave because a dysfunctional Los Angeles Lakers team is trying to offer him a paycheck and offer him a job with them. Nope, I'm not doing that. Why would you leave a good situation for an okay situation? Quinn Snyder, yeah, his team is not winning anything, and I highly doubt the Utah Jazz are going to win anything in these next few years, especially if they keep Gobert, get rid of him, keep Donovan, get rid of him. It doesn't matter. They're not going to win anything in these next few years, but he has something steady going over there. He has an organization that trusts him. He has an organization that is backing his support in terms of decisions he wants to make without making him a scapegoat. Why would he leave that situation to go be put one in the spotlight where, yes, you can thrive? I'm thinking about that part. Yeah, you can thrive playing with the Los Angeles Lakers. But the moment you mess up, oh, he's gone. He's the whole entire reason this organization is bad. He's the reason we had a bad season. He's the reason AD's hurt. He's the reason LeBron is messed up. He's the reason this is going on. No, man, we're not doing that. That's not cool at all. That's not it at all. I wouldn't want to go coach the damn Lakers either. Only way I would Only way I would is if it was my only offer, then I would go coach the Lakers. But other than that, hell no, we not doing that. We not doing that. But no, man, I appreciate you guys for hanging with me today. Or if it's just you, the individual, you know what, man, I appreciate you kicking it with me. If you made it this far in the episode, of course, definitely going through 2 different transitions. First episode, second half. You know what? You're my guy. I do appreciate you. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at The Run Podcast, at I am Manny Wilson, and follow us on Instagram as well. Hey man, we back to back after these games. So you got to catch some of these hot takes right after the games at The Run Podcast on Instagram and at I am Manny Wilson. And if you have something to get off your chest, as you know, go ahead, give us a call in the voicemail, 219-413-9405. Just say how you feel one more time, 219-413-9405. I need some takes that's going to wow me, like my man's Aaron. Aaron came on here and he wowed me. In that first episode, he wowed me. So you got to go back and listen to that because the call was cool. Yeah, I did not expect it at all. But anyway, man, I appreciate you guys for hanging with me. We will be back next week, and so on and so on and so on.